GG's The Mouthful podcast is brought to you by goodgame.tech, the most welcoming gaming community on Facebook. Join the conversation at www.goodgame.tech.
What's up, guys? This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and this is episode 42.
Is it?
I think so.
We're not in the 50s?
We're not in the 50s yet.
Oh, yeah, we haven't done our
Let
50.
me look at my show notes. Yes, it is episode 42.
Confirmed.
Of GG's The Mouthful podcast.
GG!
Awesome. And of course, with me is always Mr. David Santos, aka Dream Twister.
What's up, people? I'm heavily medicated, so I sound happier than I am.
Those happy pills.
Happy pills. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, so if this is your first time listening to this crazy show, we are GG, and GG it stands for Good Game, and Good Game is our Facebook group. You can go to goodgame.tech, takes you right there, and click to join.
Good Game is you.
Is us.
It's us.
Yes, we
it's
are.
Everybody. We are GG. We should have a group gathering. We are GG. And
We should.
Freeze frame. And then it comes the logo.
I think that'll
like
work.
if it was some sort of health insurance commercial.
We were like, oh man, this thing looks real. Everybody looks happy. Everybody looks healthy.
Yeah.
I think I want to join.
Maybe it'll get us to finally get to 400 subscribers. Or members. Yeah.
All right, guys. So as always, we're just going to jump right into what we have been up to.
Yes.
Mr. Santos. I'm going to start.
I was gonna say, man, I always start.
I got to keep
Pick it up every now and then. Yeah.
Keep you on your toes. So yes, I wanted to quickly go back. I'm still playing Resident Evil 7. And
Jesus Christ, but how long is this game?
Well, I didn't get much chance to play, unfortunately, throughout the week. But I also ran into a little snag. Got it. I'm not gonna spoil what it is, but I got to a boss, and I, tried beating this boss several times, but unfortunately, I keep running out of ammo, and I'm like, okay, I think I have to do a hard reset here.
No, is it one of those? Is there a chance of getting stuck because you don't have enough ammo, or is there a way?
I'm sure. I mean, there could be ammo laid about that I don't see.
That would be very old school if
it
it's
is
still
old school. That's, I was going to tell you earlier that it is old school that way. The good thing is, for whatever reason, you save at certain points through a tape recorder. So it's a little tape recorder.
Right.
You go in and you save.
That's old school.
That's old school. But the good thing is that even though you're using that, that's really like more of the hard save. When you continue, you won't continue right from there. You continue pretty much at a sort of a checkpoint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's actually that's improved in that sense, because the old way would really piss you off if you didn't have a tape recorder near you and you have to start.
You want to keep saying typewriter.
I know. But it still has its things. You're making potions, or not potions, health.
Are you still hitting herbs?
Herbs,
Herbs
are still
red
there.
Herb,
but now
green herb.
Instead of mixing it with other herbs
it's legal
to making it some sort of cigarette thing that no, you mix it with this liquid that enhances it, and that becomes the almost
the spray.
Not the spray. It's more of it's quite literally
like a balm,
like a water thing that a water bottle that you end up like pouring right on your hand. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. But I ended up doing a hard reset. I had to start right back from the beginning.
Wait, what I mean, from the beginning of that section?
No, I've done this before with old Resident Evils.
You started again?
No, listen to me. I've done this before, and what I realized now as I got into Resident Evil 7 that I stopped, I forgot what I normally do, which is I'll have maybe like 2 or 3 save files, so I can kind of leap back to one and just kind of redo. And the reason I do that is because now that I know what's coming, I can use less ammo, less stuff to you know what I mean? So,
you're cheesing your way in this game, man.
Hey, man, whatever you got to do, because that's the thing. I hated running into, and that's how I couldn't beat Code Veronica was because in Code Veronica, spoilers here for an old ass game, in Code Veronica, you would get to a snow facility and you're taking on Veronica, right? So you and it's Chris and Claire, and you divvy up your items, your weapons, and all this stuff. Well, it looked like she was going to be the one fighting her, so I gave her everything. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and so she
and then split,
and then you end up going back to Chris, and Chris ends up fighting someone else, and now Chris is like with nothing, and I'm like, and again, I have only had like 1 or 2 saves that. No matter what, no matter how far I went back, I was already
screwed yourself.
You've got to be kidding me.
Wow.
So that's why I do that.
Wow.
Because I don't, and I never finished Code Veronica. I finished all the other Resident Evils, but I never finished Code Veronica because I was like, I'm not going through all this shit again. So
multiple save games should be one of those things that every gamer should get accustomed to, unless the game doesn't allow it. You should always be saving because you never know when.
Nowadays, it's. Games kind of spoiled me a little bit, you know what I mean, to the point where you don't need that stuff, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I'm not. It's never going to be that bad where I'm going to have to.
Oh, what it
you
could.
know what I mean? Oh yeah, well, I mean it can.
Yeah.
I will say one thing. Witcher. The Witcher was, being a huge RPG, you definitely want to have multiple saves, right?
Yeah.
Well, Witcher was. Whoever coded it, obviously CD Projekt Red, but whoever planned to do this was amazing. You would have, it would automatically do 3 different autosaves, and then it was basically whenever I went to go load something, if I needed to load it, it had like 7 saves. I was only saving in one, but it had like 7 different points.
Oh, so the autosaves were serial?
Correct, yeah, strategic. So if it autosaves, it'll autosave on the next one, and autosave, and then it comes back. That was genius. I never had an issue with that. And I want to say Fallout 4 did the same thing.
I think Fallout 4 did also, but it was more, I think it was more acknowledgement from Bethesda that, hey, this game's kind of break at some point.
Well, that's still,
just in case.
That's smart, at least on their part. To put that
definitely.
In there, So yeah, I'm pretty much back where I left off at this point. So, but
better prepared.
But exactly, way better prepared at this point. So
that's cool.
And I also wanted to mention the show that that just came out this week on Wednesday. A little show on FX called Legion. And
this is another Marvel joint.
This is more Fox. I mean, technically it's Marvel, you know what I mean? But it's not Marvel doing it. It's Fox doing it. Fox are the ones who own the rights for all the X-Men, which Legion falls under the X-Men,
which is a Marvel,
property. Yes, I get it. And they also have Fantastic Four, which at this rate they may just end up giving back to Marvel, because they screw that up so much. No, but Legion, I have to give a huge shout out to this show because it doesn't feel like any superhero. I mean, think of Netflix with their superhero shows, and you have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC. Agent Carter was a little while back. The ones from CW, Flash and Arrow, none of them feel like this. You know what I mean? This one is, for those who don't know who Legion is a character, a Marvel character who has multiple personalities. Okay, now he developed this when he was younger, and I guess this may be a slight spoiler here for the character, but this is known throughout Marvel. He is Xavier's son. So, Charles Xavier's son. So, I don't know if they're going to connect that with the show. Frankly, I hope they don't. You know what I mean? Just leave that shit out as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, so he has multiple personalities, and his deal is that each personality develops its own mutant trait. So so they're so diverse.
So he's a shapeshifter then.
He can not really, in a way, kind of. I didn't think about it because he. Well, I don't want to spoil too much, but the point is that the beauty of the show is this, that he is crazy, quite literally insane. But the beauty of it is you're watching the entire thing from his view. So half the time you're going, is this real? Yeah. And even he's questioning, and sometimes it doesn't really know if what he saw was real. And it's just let's just say there are characters and stuff that are running around within him. At my head, I'm going, I don't think these guys are dead. I think they're all in his head. You know what I mean? But it's acting out in a certain way.
That is phenomenal. That is very interesting, actually.
Yeah, I had it. And then on top of that, this was the pilot. So, they may have blown all their budget here. But if they did, it was well spent. Yeah. Because visually for the series, it is probably one of the most prettier shows that I've seen as far as cinematography, and on top of that, just some of the special effects involved. I really dig it. But I mean, I walked out of the episode not really going, I have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that's okay, because that's exactly that's where he is. So you're not going to, at least for now, I don't think you're going to be able to view things from anyone else's point of view. You're always viewing it from his point of view. And for him, he's haunted by things, but he doesn't know why. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think some of the things that the people that he's seen are the personalities that are in his head and are controlling him at certain points, but we just don't see it that way. I'm curious to see if I ever see a moment where a camera is recording. We get to view how the camera looks at him, and he's just sitting there talking to no one, and he sees 5 people, but there's no one around him. You know what I mean? Oh. So I'm curious to see if that's what's going to happen. The way it's presented it's really cool. It's really cool. So
that's interesting. Even the term legion, actually, that's biblical.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was.
My name is Legion, for we are many.
Yes, I think that was. I don't remember exactly how the story goes, but it's supposed to be a man that had like a lot of demons inside
possessed,
him.
Yeah. Which is I mean, clearly what they drew inspiration from.
Yeah, and it makes me think also Legion from Mass Effect. Which was
another one. That's right.
That he was, he chose it. The robot, chooses that name because he's trying to convey that he is every what do you call it?
I forgot the name of their not their species.
Their species, yeah. They're the robots basically. They're all a single conscience basically, and that single conscience, it's pretty much that character meets today. He named himself Legion because of that. So the premise actually sounds interesting. I'm gonna want to see a little bit, more of it. You say that this is a show that already started?
Yes. The very first episode aired this Wednesday. It airs on Wednesdays at I want to say 10 p.m. Yeah, 10 p.m. It's so, I mean, again, so just one episode in, but I've kind of had my eye on this ever since I saw the trailer for it, maybe last year, like the beginning of last year. And when I first saw it, I was like, whoa, this does not look or feel like anything Marvel related. And obviously, again, this is not Marvel proper doing this. This is Fox because they own those rights, and they obviously don't want to give it up, so they have to do what they have to do with certain characters. But this is definitely a step in the right direction. If they're ever going to connect it to other, like at some point in the show, I was like, there's a couple of characters I'm going, are those X-Men? Are those supposed to be some X-Men? But you don't know, you know what I mean? And I don't know if they're going to connect it.
Or they're going to be mentioning them like on every Netflix Marvel series.
There was sort of a government character who brought up some event, and for some reason I'm sitting there going, I know he's referring to one of the movies, but I am not sure what it is. Also, it appears to be a period piece in the sense that it looks like maybe the 70s, maybe the 60s. Yeah, so this is actually, according to the show creator, it takes place let's say the world is not aware of mutants yet. Government agencies are, but not. It's not mainstream that they're out there.
Oh, okay.
So this may actually be before the events of some of the more recent movies.
Yeah.
Or right around those events.
Oh, that's good because then they don't feel themselves like forced to be acknowledging.
Correct.
Oh yeah, the guy with the blades.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because they won't mention the name.
No. Yeah, I don't know why they don't do that. I'm like, it's got to be common knowledge by now. Like they always mention the green guy. Yeah, and I'm like, everybody knows he's the Hulk. Yeah. What the hell?
Come on, exactly. That's
a little annoying to me. I'm like, let's just say it. The guy with the hammer. I'm like, come on now.
What's annoying to me is that I feel like Disney is like scraping the barrel of the superheroes just to be releasing and giving away.
Well, this isn't Disney.
To everybody.
This isn't Disney.
But they have to license it.
No.
They wouldn't have to license it?
Fox owns the license. That's what I'm saying.
Fox owns a Marvel.
Yeah.
Even though Disney owns Marvel.
Disney owns Marvel.
Jesus, confusing.
But these rights, before Disney bought Marvel, these rights have already been sold to well, these were sold to Fox.
I wonder if that's the reason why they can't say the names. Because they haven't,
Well, no, because like for instance, I mean, I watched the Marvel ones on Netflix, and they mentioned the guy with a hammer or the big green guy, and it's like these are Disney Marvel properties.
Yeah.
And so is the Avengers. Yeah. You can just mention it, but one thing they don't mention ever in the Avengers or anything like is mutants.
Yeah,
because mutants it belongs to X-Men.
They can't say the word. That's so stupid. That is so stupid. A common word. They can't say
They've said because for instance, what's her name? Scarlet Witch and the one who was fast, I forgot his name. He was, they were supposed to be mutants, but they couldn't mention mutants, so they mentioned them as oh God, what did they say? I think it was like gifted, or miracles.
Oh, that is so dumb.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I was like, oh man, that's
miracle.
It's a miracle. So no, definitely. If that sounds interesting to you at all,
it does.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's really good, and I enjoyed that first episode. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's all I've been doing. What you been up to, sir?
I've been under a lot of pain lately. I don't know what I did to my back because I didn't feel a point of I never had that moment of, oh shit, I think I tore something. Or all I know is that I started having like a very small pain on my lower back, and I didn't think of it much. I was like, oh, I move funny, and then it had been progressively becoming worse. And worse and worse. And it hasn't it hasn't been excruciating or anything like that, but it's constant. It doesn't stop. And it has prevented me from playing a lot because I've been,
the position you have to sit in,
the position. I went to the doctor I was thinking of, shoot, do I have something bad suddenly with my kidneys or stuff? Because, you start trying to self-diagnose yourself on WebMD. Stuff. And of course, by then it gets 10 times worse. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Go to the freaking doctor. Don't try to auto-diagnose yourself because you are going to feel worse because you're going to think that
the worst is happening.
The worst is happening, and that scientifically doesn't help the healing process.
No.
If you're thinking already negative, like it's, something's happening to you. So anyway, I went to the doctor and told me, oh, you have a muscle spasm. And they gave me some pills for that, which I've been taking. And that's why I was making the joke this morning that I was feeling fine. I was feeling
happy pills.
I wasn't feeling happy. I was feeling groggy.
It'll do that.
I was feeling like sleepy. Is what I've been feeling. So if you notice myself, out of it a little bit or overly slurring my words more than I normally do. We haven't gone back to beers yet. It's just that.
Or suddenly crying for no reason.
Bawling and emotional.
Yeah, and then getting loud and then just sitting in the corner.
Actually, that should have been. We should have started the episode with. So, what are you being medicating? Because I got like two things.
Have you been doing?
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
No, we don't condone that. No, but I have actually. I've been playing Neo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I started. So I put Final Fantasy 15 aside for a little bit. I figured I got to a point where I could leave it for a while. And I started playing, like I said, Neo, which I believe it's Japanese for Dark Souls.
And thought you were actually going to tell me something about what it meant, but okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much, yes, this is a Dark Souls game, and with everything.
It's funny because the comparisons I've heard is more Bloodborne with samurais.
Well, I think Bloodborne is Old English for Dark Souls, so you gotta see it that way. It's just, but at least with Bloodborne, you can sort of forgive it because it's made by From Software. This one is made by Ninja oh shit,
Team Ninja.
Team Ninja. Thank you. Yeah, Team Ninja, and polished by Koei.
Oh, Tecmo Koei.
Tecmo Koei. Yes. So you wouldn't expect the similarities to be so like on the face, you know. They don't call them souls, but you have souls.
They say, and I actually said this when I was doing playing Salt and Sanctuary. They say that the sincerest form of flattery is or was it imitation?
Imitation
is the sincerest form of flattery. Yeah.
And to be fair, it's actually it has gameplay mechanics that have improved. You know, that improves on the formula, like different stances, for example. And at first, I found them a little bit like annoying to control because it's like pressing the right bumper and pressing either triangle for high for high attacks. You know, where you raise your sword or whatever weapon you have. For middle is, I mean, you just press it and you change the stance, and you don't have to keep pressing it.
That's good because I mean, if you're fighting, I think what is it called? Kendo is the art of samurai sword fighting. Whatever. The point is when they are stances.
They are stances.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
And they have a low stance, which is you press the button, you press the right bumper and X, and then it goes into like a low, faster attack. So I like that. I like the loot. You could have weapons that they look the same, and they might even be the same, you know, colors. But when you go into the stats, they actually have different stats. The game runs beautifully. I mean, even on the original PS4, as well as the PS4 Pro, but on the original, it keeps pretty steady 60 frames per second. But if you want to have all the bells and whistles of making it look better, higher res, there is a 30 frames per second option, which, you know, locks it at 30, makes everything looks nicer, and it keeps it, you know, the gameplay is good if you want to do that. I opt for gameplay over graphics, so I keep it at 60. There is a variable frame rate option where it tries to keep a balance between the, you know, looking nice and the tests have shown that the game tends to run at like 40, 45, you know, around that range, you know, middle, which is commendable that it has a balance, but it's not the way to play that game, especially because variable frame rate will mess up with your timing. And let me tell you, another game where you have to have timing, and another game that insists on you making, you know, parrying, which I told you, I hate games that have parrying on them. But yeah, so far I've been having fun. When I said that it has like, it's very, you know, the Dark Souls, it wears his Dark Souls on his sleeve, is because you get to, you know, you pass the first part, and then you go in and you encounter monsters that are not even the main bosses. They're just regular mobs, and they like destroy you. The moment they see you, they destroy you, and you think like, okay, this is impossible. This is why I don't like these type of games. You get to a wall, and now I'm not going to be able to. But if you keep at it, you learn their methods, and eventually you go at it. You know, you beat them, and you beat them fairly easy. I'm not going to say it's super easy, because you still need to, you know, it's not a hack and slash. Don't play this game like a hack and slash. Yeah. Which is funny because Team Ninja has, you know, they made, you know, the Ninja Gaiden great series. And they were hack and slash, but you had to you had to know when to attack.
There was a strategy.
There was a very good strategy on it. It was not just blindly like Dynasty Warriors.
Oh God.
So Neo, I would say yes, highly recommended. If you like this Dark Souls type of games, you know, expect that. You will definitely dig this one.
I want to get it, but because I'm doing Resident Evil now. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go jump right back onto Bloodborne, because I don't want to let that one go, because I was enjoying that. But I don't know if I can follow up Bloodborne with Neo.
Yeah,
I may need a palate cleanser between.
Exactly. Yeah, a couple of indies, sprinkle a couple of indies, and it'll clean your palate, and then you can go into it. Because Bloodborne was great. I had tons of fun with that one. I have never beaten a Dark Souls type of game.
Yeah, me.
So I kind of want to choose one and do it. So if you could do that with Bloodborne, that'd be fantastic.
Which is what I intend to do, because I do like the fighting and the I just like the fighting on it more than I like Dark Souls. Dark Souls is a little bit slower when it comes to fighting. It's not bad at all, but it is here because there's no shields. You know what I mean? You're almost all offense at this point, which makes it awesome. It makes it difficult too.
Yes.
But at the same time,
you're more offensive.
You're more offensive, yeah, and you feel you. I think. Yeah. It's just a better.
You will like Neo then.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people were comparing it more to because it's a little bit faster than Dark Souls and a little bit. Yeah. And again, there's no shields or at least I don't know of.
No, you can block.
Yeah. Oh,
you can block. Okay. Yeah, and but there's sometimes you don't want to. It has this mechanic also that I really like that kind of reminds me a little bit of Gears of War's active reload. In which in Gears of War you're shooting and then when your magazine runs out or your clip whatever
it's a magazine
okay, so when your magazine runs out it has a this little like slider bar starts sliding, and then there's a sweet spot where if you press the reload button again while it's on that sweet spot, your weapon reloads faster, so it's ready inside the ready, and your bullets make more damage. I really like that gameplay feature because it's kind of like a mini game within the fighting. So in this one, as you remember in Dark Souls or Bloodborne, when you attack, you're using your stamina.
Your stamina.
Yeah. On Neo they call it the key. Yeah. So when you could expend it almost all, but if you reload, like your character will start like flashing, like a flash of light will start going like towards him. If you time it right as you are absorbing this light, it will refill your stamina, quite a lot faster than it would have without it. So that is pun intended, that is key to fighting most of these monsters. You always want to make sure that you're at the ready, with that. So that's yet another thing that it has that makes the game a little bit, I will say, accessible. But at the same time, you have to know when to use it. You have to master it.
Well,
you don't
practice.
Yeah, you have to practice it. Yeah, because you'll never encounter a different game. So that's Neo. I've been watching a lot of things. I did start and finish reading a book.
Oh,
it is called The 5 Languages of Love. And
is this for real?
You're giving me a look. Yeah, I'm dead ass. This is something that my wife had mentioned it in the beginning. And that she read it. She told me it will help me understand her better. Not that there's any pronunciation or anything like that. It's just she mentioned it. She really liked it, and I kind of want to know. So I started reading it. Turns out it's actually very useful. Okay. It's basically if I can describe it, it has. Say you and your spouse, right? You both love each other, obviously, and I've seen you guys, really awesome. You might be speaking each other's love language correctly. The love languages are supposed to be either I don't know. This is not gaming related, but it's actually very useful. I'm the only reason I mention it is because I think a lot of people could actually
benefit from
it quite a bit. So you either show your love by affirming words, acts of service, which is like doing chores and stuff like that, giving gifts, if your spouse is into that. The other one I am blanking out right now. There was another. Quality time.
Okay.
And physical touch.
Oh, okay.
And then you kind of have to understand what is more important of those 5. What is more important to your spouse, and then that's what you demonstrate, and that's how they're supposed to understand, feel love, basically.
Gotcha.
Because you could be, for example, I'm a person that I'm all affirming words. I'm affirming words. And let's say my wife, that's not her primary love language. For example, I could be all like, baby, I love you, this and that. I'm always constantly, but I don't do anything around the house. And let's say that's their love language. That's how she feels that she's loved. I just sit down and play games and don't do anything else. She's going to get tired. It doesn't matter how lovey-dovey I am. It doesn't matter that I bring her flowers every day. It doesn't matter anything else. If I don't do the primary language. So I didn't know that concept. That concept, it turned out to be very interesting. And it helped me understand, like, oh, yeah, I could have actually applied this, a lot sooner on the olden times, for example. So anyway, it's a good book.
What's the name of it again?
It is the five love languages. The Secret.
This is one.
Oh shit! That is not sponsored. The 5 Love Languages: The Secret to Love That Lasts by Gary Chapman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure some of our listeners might have encountered this. Might have been given because
especially being that we're all gamers in the sense that we that takes up a good amount of time within our lives.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, and not every one of us has a partner who games as well.
Yeah,
she doesn't game at all.
Yeah,
so I have to make time for it. But you're right. You have to balance it out. So
you have
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a short read, actually. Yeah. If you could pick the book or get the audiobook is like 4 hours and 46 minutes. So
okay.
You can definitely, while you're doing the chores around the house.
While you're speaking the language ready.
Yes. Turns out that's what she wants me to do.
Oh, very good.
And that's all I've been doing.
Awesome. All right, guys, so we're going to go right into some news.
Sorry, I have an idea.
Oh, talk to me.
If we had to write a book about the 5 gamer languages, what would be the 5 gamer languages?
I don't know. I think it would kind of fall in genres, wouldn't it? I mean, you have...
Let me see. So it'll be... Well, actually, no, it could be a little bit more broader. It has to be... I'm trying to think. Think about it like console. What would you call that? Well, you both should play the same console. You both should like the same PS4 or Xbox One. No. I'm talking in general. I'm not talking about couples. I'm talking about like.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like, let's say, for example, me and Giovanni are having trouble in our gaming relationship, because he's always playing the Nintendo games and stuff, and I don't like Nintendo. So that has been difficult. So, Dr. Martin, what can you tell us that we can actually help ourselves? And he has his podcast, and I'm sure that he talks a lot about Nintendo, and I can't stand to talk about Nintendo. Every time he brings up Nintendo, I can't do so. I can't help myself. Tell me, what should I do, Dr. Martin?
First off, I need you to go buy a DS and
buy a DS. Okay.
Yeah, buy a DS, and then you're going to download at least 3 Nintendo-made games. Okay.
Okay. And I think that's all they have.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's all they make.
And then you have to play those within a week. Okay.
All right.
And then call me on the next week. And I think you'll be solved at that point.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Martin. I wrote these notes. I'll try to.
Yes.
Next time.
The nurse will give you my bill as you walk out. Oh man, so right into some news. I got to tell you, I got a lot of TV here, sir.
Yeah?
Yes, a lot of TV.
Lay it out on me, Don Matrix.
First and foremost,
yes, sir.
The best show ever. No, that's an exaggeration.
Now you're starting to talk like me.
You're right. Stranger Things season 2, sir.
Oh, really? You're excited? I didn't notice your excitement when you posted like those 22 articles on the.
Are you kidding me? Yes, I was peeling apart that it was like a 30-second segment on TV, and I was like freeze framing everything. I was like, wait, what is that there? Is that how do I zoom in on this? Yeah. So market count calendars, guys. It's on Halloween. I don't know why they showed it so damn
Mark
early.
your calendars because you probably will forget by next month.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the little segment on it, but
I didn't because I haven't finished.
Much
of my shame.
Season 1.
I haven't finished season 1 yet, and I don't want anything that. Well, I can see they're all there, so at least I know no one's dead.
I swear to God, it's 8 episodes long, and I think episode 6, dude. You're already there.
I should sit down and.
Yes, just you know what? When we finish this show, we're gonna fucking finish this show. So yes, if you saw the trailer, it looks really interesting. A lot of questions coming out of that. One thing that they did mention, I actually found an article. This isn't a spoiler for you because you already know she's gone at this point. Barbara disappeared in season 1, and they are going to acknowledge what happened, or at least give some closure to what's going on there. Yeah. So for all you what the hell happened to Barbara fans, because there are a lot of them. There were like protests.
Barbara was the reason. Why do you think I'm not watching anymore?
They didn't bring her back.
They didn't bring her back. I'm like, okay, well, we're done. Next Netflix show.
Yep.
I'm trying to see if I can find her in Luke Cage.
Oh God, don't do it. Don't do it. Speaking of Marvel, segue. Iron Fist new trailer came out, and show itself is releasing here March 17th, so about a little over a month away. Sir, you saw the trailer. What do you think of that?
I like what I saw. It looked very art martially.
Yeah.
What I mean is it looks like it's going to be more action oriented.
Yes.
And I mean, not that the other ones aren't. It's just this looks like it's going to have some really cool fight scenes. And
correct. Yeah.
From the look of it, I didn't know. I have to admit, I didn't know who Iron Fist was. I thought it was like I was telling you, I think yesterday that I feel like Disney was scraping the bottom of the barrel of heroes to do series, and.
To be fair, this one has been this has already been laid out for I think like 3 years now. So it's not like they just started this. Because this is part of the Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and now Iron Fist.
The Sea Heroes.
We'll call them
the Sea Heroes.
The Netflix heroes.
The Netflix heroes. Yeah.
So,
see, I was telling you yesterday, and I didn't finish my thought because we got busy. But when I was a kid, there were a few superheroes, and they were all DC superheroes, except for Spider-Man, and that was it. We didn't have any of this.
You didn't have X-Men?
I wasn't a comic nerd, so a comic nerds had, and mind you, I'm not using that term disparagingly.
No,
it's just
we're all nerds here.
Comics aficionados. I don't know what
we're all nerds here.
Yeah, we're all nerds here. Exactly,
right.
exactly. So I didn't want to comment sounding wrong. So I wasn't a comic nerd. So I didn't know about the X-Men until like 92 actually when I came to Orlando from Puerto Rico one time, and my cousin he's really into comics, he started showing me all these superheroes that I had no idea, who they were, and why would you mean that there's more than Batman and Superman, and Aquaman and Wonder Woman? So it was
the
all
Super Friends.
It was all Super Friends. Yes, exactly. It was just the Justice League and Spider-Man on the side, and everybody else could fuck themselves because I didn't know anybody else. But anyway, now it feels like I know they have existed from before. It's just because either they are old or they haven't come to any prominence on any recent movies or films or anything like that. Only in comics, maybe. I'm like, who is this? Did they just created this? No. Is this a new superhero? Are they
The funny thing is, if you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., if you watch any of the Netflix shows, if you watch even the Marvel films, there's always these little side characters that only the real deep, knowledgeable comic book fans will go, oh snap, that's this guy, or that's this girl, because there's this weird, for instance, in Winter Soldier, if you've seen Winter Soldier, at the very beginning when he gets to the ship that he's sneaking onto to save the the hostages in the very beginning of Winter Soldier. So he ends up fighting this dude, and he puts his shield down, or he puts a shield on his back so he can fight him, whatever. Which is actually played by an MMA fighter. That guy is actually a well-known Captain America villain. So when you
really?
Yeah. When you see,
I never know.
Exactly. One of the constant villains that happen every so often.
Wow.
In Marvel's Agents of Shield, every so often they showed some new character that they're whatever, and it's like, oh snap, you know what I mean? That's this good, you know. So there is so many. I mean, you really have to look at it. There is for every one major superhero, there are probably 100 no name, you know, that maybe had one or two issues, and then that's as far as they went. You know what I mean? So
I wonder. There's you probably wouldn't know this, but there used to be a PC game, a PC MMO that was called City of Heroes.
Oh yes, I remember.
And so it had City of Heroes, and then they had an expansion called City of Villains.
Yes,
and it was a really cool concept. But the idea itself was kind of silly because it was like everybody's a superhero. Yeah. You create your own superhero. Yeah. So suddenly you have a city where there are more heroes and villains than civilians.
Than really regular people, yeah.
So it's like, who's getting saved here?
Wasn't that a from The Incredibles? If everyone's super, then no one is.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
There you go. Exactly.
That's probably why it failed.
If everyone's super, then no one is. That's a deep villain thought.
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of when Lucky has that line that says, there's no man like me. And then one of the heroes says, there's always men like you.
I don't know that one.
It was I forgot the actual. It's on. I think it was on the original Avengers movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it was him and Cap had that. Would I know this and you don't? I'll find the quote. I'll find the quote.
Well, yeah. Moving on to more TV. Konami is back.
No, fuck that. Next piece of news.
No. Konami is back with Netflix. They are working on a Castlevania series. Yes. And it's going to be animated. And it's not going to be for kids.
Oh, yes.
It's actually going to be, according to the showrunner, Adi Shankar, on par with The Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, only animated. So, I'm curious about that, especially, I don't know if you know who Adi Shankar is.
No.
Okay, so Adi Shankar he's done a bunch of stuff, but one of the things that made him popular was, you remember that Power Rangers thing that we looked at that was like a 15-minute thing, and then, you got it?
Yes.
What is it?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But here, it's like when Loki says, kneel before me, I say kneel, and he put his scepter down, boom. And then everybody kneels,
except for the old man.
Except for the old man. The old man is like, he slowly, stand up. He's like, not to men like you. And he's like, there's no man like me. And then the German guy told him, there's always men like you.
Yes, we have one now in our country.
Yes, exactly. That was great.
Yeah, that was a good line.
That was freaking good.
Adi Shankar. So you remember the Power Rangers, the little snippet one that was about 15, 20 minutes long that was like extremely R-rated?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, the movie the Power Ranger that I would have really liked to see.
Funny you should say that. Well, first off, Castlevania, he's the one doing Castlevania.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes, the animated Castlevania. Oh,
that's good. That's good. Well, wait. Is this going to be then a webisode, or is this an actual
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix? Okay.
Netflix, yeah. But
that's
also,
good to know.
Also, on top of that, he is also working on a rated R Power Rangers, also for possibly Netflix.
What? Wait, for Netflix? Yes. Okay, so this will have the blessing of...
I don't know, Saban. I don't know if they're going to we would do it, especially now with the... I don't know.
They wouldn't sign it.
You don't know. I mean, they may have it as a backup just to say...
I think they learned this lesson from the first time,
What do you mean?
Well, he got in trouble with Saban. Saban did not want that to be shown, and I think that they came to an agreement if they didn't use the name Power Rangers or something like that. I don't remember exactly what was the.
But I mean, even if you don't use a name, you're using the clearly the characters. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, but it could be. But at that point,
the character names.
Yeah, but I don't think they will give it permission to. Okay, well, you can sign a contract with Netflix. Take all our money.
Right. I mean, if Netflix is throwing money at it, which
Saban
they throw money.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So,
It will probably have Saban blessing if that's the case. And if that's the case, then
you
it'll make me a little bit more excited than this stupid movie.
The problem is, first of all, it's not stupid.
It looks really stupid, bro.
The problem there is that
The Incredibles look a lot better.
Wouldn't one overshadow the other? You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like or you're just gonna have two
universes.
Two, I guess.
Well, it's the comic world, of course. It's gonna have different universes.
I guess that's possible. Yeah. So that's my TBT news there, and I think that's all I have. Yeah, and so now going into some gaming news, David Jaffe from Sony San Diego Studios, their multiplayer game Drawn to Death finally gets a release date.
Oh,
after
many moons.
Yeah, April 4th, and it has a price tag. $19.99.
Good. Okay, that's a good price for it. That's a good price for it. Yeah.
Was originally meant to be free to play, but as I always say, just give me the game.
Give me the game.
And exactly. I'll pay what it is for it.
Hey, that's what Overwatch did.
Yeah,
they do
exactly.
well.
And exactly, they are doing extremely well. So if you're interested in that comes out again April 4th, $19.99.
That game looks kind of
sketchy. You were gonna say.
You were waiting for it exactly.
Oh man, good timing. E3.
Yes,
otherwise known as Holy Week.
Holy Week, yes, exactly.
So tickets, believe it or not, are on sale for the public this year.
That is amazing, Tron.
Yes,
when are we going? That's not going to be this year because this year I already used all my video.
Yeah.
Or I already have it scheduled.
Yeah, me too. The prices of the tickets, the very first of all, there's a total of 15,000 available
entries,
public tickets.
Yeah. They're probably testing the waters to see.
Probably, yes. Which if they've already sold out, I think they're realizing.
Oh shit!
No, I don't know.
I thought you meant to say they already sold out. I wouldn't be surprised.
With the prices here, the very first 1,000 are at $149. Okay, after those are sold out, the rest of them will be at $249.
Oh shit!
So
act early.
Yeah. Now,
it might be too late by now.
That being said, with the tickets, whichever one you get all full access for all 3 days of E3.
Nice.
So that's pretty sweet.
That's not bad.
No,
I mean for what you're getting. I mean, if you get the one I can't imagine what the lines are going to look like now.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you probably get to play 2 games and then go home.
I think this all stemmed from last year because last year, EA wasn't there. That was a big. Was it EA? No, it wasn't EA. Yeah, EA. EA was the one who stepped out. They're not going to do an EA press conference. Mm-hmm. They did their own thing somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, they stepped away from it, and that kind of, and that EA, believe it or not, it's a huge publisher to not have.
Believe it or not.
Yeah. Believe it or not.
Believe it or not, EA is huge.
Yeah, they are. And but unfortunately, I think they saw their numbers kind of decline a little bit. And so this may be an attempt to try to
revive E3.
E3, which is a shame. I don't want E3 to go anywhere.
No, me neither. There's I've heard a lot of podcasts where they're like, "Oh, E3 is completely unnecessary," and that's besides the point. Yes, I get that we live on the internet age now, and the publishers could just go to talk directly to their fans or whatever. But I still think that E3 has that that level of interest, among the enthusiasts. They want to know, the latest and greatest come out from those, conferences and from those days in general. I don't want, at least not the press conferences. I wouldn't want them to go away.
Well, the original point was never for the public. Or it was never for. I don't even think it was for the media. It was always for the retailers. That's who they were showing what their next products and stuff. That was a purpose of E3
But let's face it, they got.
The first E3 had the Virtual Boy.
If they're gonna be spending that much money, they better get their marketing dollars on it.
Well, here's the deal: they're spending that much money now because of all the media and everything. But it wasn't that big before. It's like Comic-Con. Comic-Con started off very small. Yeah. And when Hollywood stepped into Comic-Con, suddenly became this big production. Yeah. And things get lost in that, sometimes, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. There's no boot babes anymore. Stupid E3.
You got to go to Tokyo Game Show for that.
Tokyo Game Show still have them? Yeah.
Speaking of Tokyo, Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Puyo Puyo!
Puyo Puyo. Gets a release date, and I actually checked it out. I was like, because I like Tetris. I'm not sure if you're a fan of Tetris, but do you know what Puyo Puyo is?
I know that. Yeah, I know that it's a puzzle.
It's another puzzle game. Yeah. So it's basically versus Puyo Puyo versus Tetris is what it looks like.
Puyo Puyo.
One person plays one.
In English stands for GG.
Oh, there you go. GG Tetris.
Yeah, GG Tetris.
We are releasing this on April 25th.
Nice.
And it's coming to the Switch and to PS4.
Oh. So. Well, that's good. Because I've heard nothing but good things from people that like those type of games. Obviously, this is not a game.
But
for
one
me,
less reason to buy a Switch. I know. Funny thing is a little disparity in the pricing. The PS4 and the Switch digital version will be at $29.99. The Switch physical copy will be at $39.99.
Why the hell?
Oh, it's a cartridge. We all know it's more expensive.
Of course. Nintendo.
Oh, that cartridge comes back to bite us in the ass after all these years. All right, and finally, my last piece of gaming news I have here is that Call of Duty
I should be getting ready.
is returning to its World War II roots.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Did they say? They say all they said on that. I mean, I saw the news. All they say was that they want to bring it back to the roots. Yeah. I don't know what that means. That could mean Call of Duty 4.
No. Yeah, World War II. That's the article I read. World War II. I copied it right off of the World War II roots.
Holy crap! Yeah. They're feeling that Battlefield 1.
Yes,
they felt it hard.
They felt according to CEO of Activision states that Infinite Warfare quote underperformed. Shockingly. And also, quote, it's clear that for a portion of our audience, the space setting just didn't resonate, unquote. So clearly, they're just saying, you went full
retard at that point. You went too into the future.
And
you know what happens at that point? It's like they ain't Call of Duty anymore.
I'm curious because I didn't get to play. Let me see if I can. I guess it's got to be on sale soon. But Call of Duty. I wanted to try that Infinite Warfare. I mean, I haven't played any of the modern warfare. I know
the fact that what you were just saying, it's the remake of a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old.
No. Like I said, I want to try the actual Infinite Warfare. I want to try that one. It looks. It looked pretty good.
It looked good. It had Jon Snow. Come on. You know nothing, Jon Snow.
He does know nothing.
Yes.
That's all the news I have, sir. What do you have over there?
I am checking my sources right now, which they're telling me that David Jaffe's Sketchy Hero Shooter, Drawn to Death. Oh, we're talking about that already. Okay, we'll move forward. There was... really interesting news to me for this developer, the developer of the Forza series. They're making a non-racing game.
Who is the developer?
Turn 10 Studios.
Never heard of them.
So they never heard of them because it's a first-party Xbox. That's why.
I've heard of Forza. I've heard of Forza forever, but I've never heard the name.
The thing that struck me as interesting is it reminds me of when Criterion. Mm-hmm. You've heard of them.
Yes, I've heard of them.
Made their first non-racing game that they made, which was the shooter Black.
Oh, wow.
That
was actually pretty decent.
That was actually pretty good. I mean, that game looked freaking amazing
on PS2.
PS2, And now, granted, the gameplay itself was kind of simplistic. But I was okay with that. I mean, because it looked so well. It had destruction.
It was a gun lover's game.
Yes,
they were showing off the guns like it was. I don't know. They were like putting it into sexual positions or some shit. It was just like ridiculous. It was like, my God, this really loves these guns that they have here. You know. And it was. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a very fun shooter.
It was a very fun shooter, yes. So that's I'm not saying Forza should the Turn 10 shouldn't make a shooter, but it'll be interesting to see what do they go for.
No, I think more developers should do that. Sometimes you get stuck into a
you get typecast.
Yeah, exactly, typecast into a certain genre. I mean, look at Guerrilla. You know what I mean? They've been doing Killzone forever. You know what I mean? And now they're jumping over to do an open world RPG. I'm like, action RPG.
Which is looking amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, more power to them. I hope they do.
Yeah.
That actually will be good for Xbox library.
Yes.
To have something else other than a racing game. You know what I mean? Because not everybody's into racing games.
We don't need another shooter, though, Turn 10. We already have enough shooters. Could you please?
They need to do their homework and make a Japanese RPG because they're never going to get another. They're never going to get one of those.
How do you do a Japanese RPG if you're not Japanese?
I don't know. Hey, work for Ubisoft. They did Child of Light. That was about the best JRPG that year.
It's an FRPG, sir.
Yes, I know. An FJRPG.
Yeah, an FJRPG because of French.
Yeah.
PS4 Pro getting on 4.5 firmware is getting boost mode, which I realized
the Pro.
Yeah, by the Pro, which by now is probably old news already. We have been posting a few snippets here and there, but I'm very excited about it because it might finally be the reason to jump and get and get that if it works well. If I think what's the name? The people that Digital Foundry. Thank you. So Digital Foundry tested several games, and they also market improvements on them. Sometimes upwards of 10 frames. Frames more. So this will help games that were struggling a little bit with the frame rate. That let's say they were targeting 30,
poor coding,
but it wasn't. Exactly. Or maybe trying to put too much bells and whistles,
into it.
To the higher of a resolution and stuff like that. And so that is still in beta. It should be coming in, pretty soon, or I don't know how soon. Because Sony says soon, it might mean 3 months from now. So all I know, I tried to get in the beta. I signed up and I never get a new.
Oh.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to test because I also want to see if I can buy, which is another feature that 4.5 has. It's an internal hard drive. Because I'm running out of space on it already.
Oh.
When I told you, well, that's the thing, but it's starting to feel uncomfortable now where I had to install Neo. I had to delete Bloodborne.
Oh, well,
and I kind of wanted to have Bloodborne there for. I'm gonna play it right
there. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It's the same game. You just put it back. It's not
Japanese.
Pretty
much, yeah. Yeah. Activision says that Destiny 2 is still coming this year. But guess what game is probably not going to come this year? Ubisoft's South Park, The Fractured Butthole. The Fractured Butthole.
I love that freaking name. I heard. I mean, what the hell happened?
I don't know.
That shit had a release date in December.
Exactly.
And they got pushed to here. Now it's like,
it's those
maybe 2018
mega textures, man. They got to put them graphics in.
Jesus Christ.
No, I mean it's fine. I want that game to be good. It's just
but this I agree. This smells a little bit concerning now.
Yeah, exactly. This is like something got changed radically.
Yeah, we're redoing the entire fucking game.
Yeah, or something's not coming together as it should. Yeah. Especially when, I would imagine that they would have stuck to the same engine as the previous one.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's not that testing of
we're not developers. We don't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
But, from what it looked like.
What it looked like, and they were showing demos of it, and I was expecting it, like you said, December. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But going back to Destiny, Activision wants to reiterate that yes, it is coming this year. One thing that worries me a little bit is the fact that they use. It's launching this autumn, and we want to make it more accessible to casual players.
Oh, God.
I always hate that term because it's not that I have anything against getting casual players, but let's face it, Destiny is not a game that a casual player game. It's not. So every time I hear that, every time that they use that term and to make a game that's supposed to be more accessible, they always fuck things up because they take away too many things and they make it. You're not casualizing. You're simplifying. You're dumbing it down. You know, a game like Destiny, which it was already a little bit on the easy side as far as the. I'm not saying like the raids and stuff. That part was hard, just as hardcore as it get. But outside from that, it was already a little bit too vanilla. And now you're adding water. Look, Final Fantasy 15 is a perfect example. That game, all I have to do to fight is leave a button press, and every now and then, take a potion. That's it. I don't have to. There's almost no strategy to it. It's almost as and the game itself tells you this is for casual players and the lovers of the series alike. Then that's
for new games.
And I've been bored. Honestly, I've been bored with it. That's why
there's no challenge. Yeah, if there's no challenge, you're not gonna keep anybody.
The challenge is let's just give this monster more hit points.
Yeah,
there's no strategy.
That's
there's
not
no
a challenge. Yeah, that's elongating a fight. That's all it is.
What I'm getting concerned about. But yeah. I guess we'll have to see when it comes out on this autumn, according to Activision.
Don't do it.
Your favorite game of last year, Street Fighter V, latest character has been revealed.
I don't care.
Her name?
I seriously don't give a shit.
So, moving along.
No, what's her name?
Her name is Colin.
Colin?
Yeah.
Her name is Colin.
Kolin. She's supposed to be some Russian chick that...
Okay.
Yeah, she appeared as a helper, or... She made an appearance, like a cameo on Street Fighter 3, apparently. Of all, I want to say the main character. I don't know about Street Fighter lore, and nor do I care, But it's there. She looks like she has ice-based attacks, and there is. I posted a video of it.
Okay.
To those who are interested. Do you think the Street Fighter 5 is dead?
The 5? Well, for Evo players, no, but for main people out there, yeah, I think they screwed the pooch when it first came out. For Evo, I think it's going to be
for the tournaments.
Yeah, tournaments is still it's going to be. But for everybody else, I don't think anybody gives a shit anymore.
Yeah, I certainly wasn't.
And when Injustice 2 comes out now, that's
actually
done. It'll be people.
I'm surprised that I'm more excited about that than Street Fighter 5 or anything that Street Fighter 5 has to offer. Valve is in the news. They are removing Greenlight, bro. Woo!
I thought they were just revamping it though.
That's what I'm saying. They're removing.
So they're not removing.
It's not gonna be Greenlight anymore because now what their idea is. Greenlight, for those who don't know, is that the service that Valve provide, Valve makers of Steam. Of Half-Life, they used to make games before, and Left 4 Dead, and now they're just Steam.
Now they're just doing nothing.
So what it allowed was to have people submit games and have the community vote on which games they would like to see on the shop.
The problem with that
is that a lot of garbage was getting greenlit because developers will often offer incentives for people to vote their games on, whether it's like keys or game keys or whatever.
We'll give you this if you vote for us. And,
exactly. And right now, Steam might as well be the App Store, the Apple App Store, or in the worst case, the Google Play. It's just littered with crap, and it's starting to get a little difficult to get good game, good software to show.
If I'm not mistaken, the number was they had what 4,000 games in the last since it started. 4,000 fucking games.
No. You're talking about last year? Only last year alone. That
was last year alone. I thought it since it started.
I think the number was even higher. I think the number is the number is exponentially higher than that, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
It has, and the problem with that is, hey, if you're a small developer and you want to show your chops and show what you have, and maybe you don't have a lot of money to publish, but you have talent, that's good and all. Yes, by all means, I invite that. I see.
Yeah, you're gonna get lost in the shuffle with all that.
The problem, and most of these games that are being released on Steam lately are just like garbage demos from, like, you buy a license for, let's say, for Unreal 4, and it have these assets that they're meant for you to use for, like, trying stuff out, to getting familiarize yourself. They're not meant to be used for actual, for the actual, to put them in a game. Just like wrap them up, a bunch of sample assets that you can steal from different sites and just make a game out of it. So it's looking horrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so now the idea is that so Valve wants to do away with that green light, and what they're putting instead is making the publishers, or the developers publish the games directly. They no longer have to have the community. However, they are thinking of putting a fee.
Okay.
So that fee could be anywhere from $200, which I think is too low, to $5,000, which is that would be too high. Now the fee is reimbursable.
Okay.
They didn't go into details as of how would they get the money back, but the idea is that maybe through as that game sells, or I don't know. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea. You can't put the level of entry too low, because otherwise Joe Schmo is just gonna release their the latest crapware that he was able to put in like 5 minutes just to for $1 just to get people to buy into it, and that's crap. You can't litter. Steam is a major cleanup.
Yeah,
right now.
A lot of crap there.
So hopefully this will help. We don't know there hasn't been much details on that just yet, but at least I'm excited that they're taking steps in the right direction. Other than that, I think we spoke about everything else, so I don't have anything. Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Great. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back, guys.
All right, I can help you with that. Please hold while I transfer you to someone who can help you with that.
What?
It's the hold music. Hold music. Thank you for holding. Your call is very important to us. The next available representative will... Okay, I'm back.
We're going to go right into our Hot Topic of the Week.
Hot Topic of the Week.
And thank you, sir. And this week, we're talking about a good old, small little indie store that you may have heard of.
Yes, the mom and pop store.
The mom and pop shop.
Exactly, yes.
The mom and pop shop called GameStop. If you haven't heard of the recent news articles regarding what's called the Circle of Life that GameStop apparently implemented recently, 2016.
Let's say they have it running from before, but they just...
Well, the Circle of Life that they're mentioning was 2016. They've always wanted to. The point of the Circle of Life is essentially to put a higher emphasis on used gaming or used games that they sell, because that's how they make their money. Everything they sell, used games, is 100% profit for the company because it's all theirs. Any new games, any new consoles, anything like that ends up essentially going... They don't make nowhere near as much off of those things. And obviously, they don't take a loss on it. But what it appears on the Circle of Life thing that they've implemented is that now it's almost kind of viewed as if it is a loss. The article was... originally posted by Kotaku, and it basically says that the employees and maybe even the managers for the stores mentioned that they're all scared for their jobs. You have to look into it, because believe it or not, there are opposing articles stating that this is a little bit over exaggerated as to what the case may be. Now, that being said, even on the Kotaku version of it, they stated that every store is given a different quota. So it could be that the people are going, "Oh, this is exaggerated." Well, you probably don't have the same quotas as these other ones.
It's the same. It's the same thing as at every job, right? You're gonna have your boss. You're gonna have your metrics, and you're gonna have your boss that is gonna be a little bit more relaxed about them. And hey, as long as you're doing your job and it's showing everything, we're cool. And then they're gonna be the ones that want to go so super by the book and micromanage, and they're like always extremely into it.
So that could be the difference as to why there's opposing views.
That's what I'm thinking, and I can see why you'd be scared of of your job. For example, this is via again Kotaku, the statement from the anonymous source that they got, because we went through this last podcast, but we didn't really got into it.
Yeah, it wasn't
the example. I didn't have examples, so this is basically what they were able to get from the anonymous source. It says each GameStop store. Each GameStop shop has different percentage quotas for pre-orders, reward cards, subscriptions, used game sales, and tradings. So for each of these quotas is based on the store total transactions. Pre-orders and reward card subscriptions are based on the number of transactions, while games and use sales, and tradings are based on the total value of the transaction. Right. So you got that. So let's say, for example, if a store quota is used if a store quota for used games is 30%, and the store sells $1,000 worth of merchandise, then GameStop expect that at least $300 of that merchandise is to be pre-owned.
Used game.
Let's say if someone walks into the GameStop and picks up, let's say, a copy of Yakuza 0 without pre-ordering another game or subscribing to the rewards card or buying a used game, or trading in some games to help pay for it, then the transaction will knock down all 4 percentages.
So essentially, they take a hit on that particular metric.
If they're selling you and they don't get to sell you anything else, because used games, as you guys know, is the bigger revenue of
it's the backbone of the company. And what I guess the part of the story that people that seems to be an emphasis on is now, because they don't want to start taking hits on those metrics. That they are doing different things.
They are playing the system. It says it right here. We're telling people we don't have new systems in stocks, so we don't take a $300 or $400 hit on the pre-order numbers. This is company-wide, and in discussion with my peers, it is a common practice. We also tell customers we don't have copies of new games in stock while they're on sale. So, for example, this is around the time that this was published. Watch Dogs 2 was $29.99
because it was a sale.
New, and $54.99 pre-owned. So we just tell them that we don't have the new one in stock, and just shuffle them out the store. So as you can see, they are resorting to playing the system. Basically,
it's a shady.
It's a store that doesn't want to sell you stuff.
No, they do, but they want you to. They're funneling you to the used game.
That's what I'm saying. They don't want to sell you the new game. They will much rather you get the used game, because they're still operating under the old system of, here's a physical good, and here's a used physical good, and we don't have to give any money to the developers or publishers or anything like that. We keep the 100% of it. Yeah. And
this is the reason this started. Obviously, it's that GameStop is little by little. They're closing. They're making money. They are profitable, but stores are going away little by little, and that's it's just the way it's going to go at some point, because we're eventually going to go to the point where everything's going to just be all digital.
Yeah, exactly. And they're trying to, on their credit, they're actually trying to expand to different type of businesses. Well, they've done a couple things.
Some good, some not good. No. Some good in the sense that they've gone into publishing, and the publishing of video games, which obviously that you can make money there, but that's also extremely risky, because we all know companies shut down because if a game doesn't perform, whatever, and you put money into it, and now you're at a loss. They tested the waters with the Song of the Deep. I don't know if you got that, and I want to try that. By the way, I'm interested in it. They tested the water, but it was a smaller game. It was really a test game. I think it was Insomniac that made the game. The developer developed it, and then they published it, and I think it did well. You know how these companies are. They don't really say it's great unless it is great. If it's not good, then they just kind of stay quiet on themselves. So I didn't hear anything, so I assume it was okay. But they've done that. But they've also done dumbass moves. I don't know if you remember this. This was a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where they wanted to sell you used digital copies of games.
Oh my God! Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they were, or at least they mentioned that they were looking into that.
They were They were looking into.
How would that even work?
That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, exactly. What? How do you get the rights? How do you get the digital rights back?
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, they were trying to. What I would have to imagine is that they were trying to have the publishers and game developers and console manufacturers to develop a system where that was possible. And let me ask you, who in the right mind of all of those three, are gonna want to do something like that? Oh yeah, sure, we'll do something that will undercut us and just give you all the profits to you, GameStop. Sure, yes, that's what we're gonna do.
I was watching the latest episode of Colin Was Right. I don't know if you saw it.
Yes,
but he did point out one thing that will keep them there is that GameStop or in stores like GameStop. Is that regardless of how we feel or how even publishers and game console manufacturers feel, they need them because they may not need them for the games, but they need them for the consoles because you can't. You have to have some place to get those consoles. Yes, you can get.
I heard that point also, but I was not sure that I agree with him 100% on that.
Yeah, well, keep in mind that these stores will buy a large stock of consoles, while like other stores, like for instance Walmart or something, they're not going to buy a large stock of consoles.
But if GameStop was no longer and the demand was there, they probably
maybe start. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, that could be the way it goes, but that's still an if. And,
right.
The companies are going to be like, well, we have them. Might as well just use them for this. So that's why they're still there. But, I don't know.
That's a symbiotic relationship there where, they sort of benefit from them, but they're also, they are also stabbing them. And not even on the back. This is full frontal.
Yeah.
Because they're selling, I mean.
Yeah. They're just, they're trying, especially with this particular, thing that they're being blamed for or accused of right now.
We want to be clear. This is not a stand against the sale of used games. No, we were just talking about. We have a friend that is a store owner. Of a game. It's the owner of a store that
primarily is
used games. Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit more retro, also. But it's
It's still. They do still.
And and that's awesome. From what I've seen, it has never been as predatory as this company is, as the GameStop of the world are. And keep in mind, there's no competition to GameStop anymore. As far as on level higher. They bought it all up. Exactly. So who is to keep them in check? And when you have employees that are afraid because suddenly they see you coming in to buy a game as a threat.
To the defense of the people doing this, you know what I mean? To a certain defense,
right.
Okay. We all know the pressures of running, running some sort of business or just trying to keep your job.
Yeah, this is not justifying them, however.
No, it's not justifying them, but you can understand when you paint people into a corner, the desperation moves that they can start to do.
Exactly.
This is where we work. We work in in insurance. We all know that every so often something gets sold. It's not sold correctly, but why? They're just trying to make a sale because they need to make a sale because that's their livelihood. And when you get painted into a corner, when
your job is on the line, you're gonna
things end up happening. So, and that's not again to be a defense of them doing this. In the end, that's money out of their pocket. When they say we don't have the consoles, well, now you're not going to get the full amount, but now you get nothing. You know what I mean? So it doesn't make sense anyway. But I understand if they're, I'm not sure when they meet those quotas what they're getting. Are they getting bonuses? Are they what is it that they're benefiting when they make
get the
those
privilege of keeping their jobs?
I mean, if that's the case, then again, that's even more though. That's even more reason why they would do that.
That's the problem. It's not the justification of them. It's just, this is happening. To today, GameStop still haven't released any press advice saying response saying, hey, you know what, these things are a little bit more aggressive that we intended to. Maybe we're looking to change or something. No, what they say is like, oh no, not all stores are doing that. Well, we know that, yeah, but you have a lot of stores that are,
yeah,
and that's the problem. And you
why are they?
Yeah, you have a lot of demoralized employees in your store, doing that. Probably the reason why I got so horrendous service because they don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, that's the customer service. A lot of times you get into that, but no, as far as the store goes, I mean, it unfortunately, as they say, the days are numbered for them. I mean, it's been pointed like that for a while. They've been going in that direction for a while. But no, this is shady. This is really shady. And honestly, I would, if you do shop, if you do go to GameStop, again, this is not to say that your GameStop near you is one of the ones doing this. Just be mindful that this may be going on. And honestly, if that's the case, do you want to support a business doing these type of things?
No.
You know what I mean?
If you really need, don't. I mean, you should really start considering building your library digital. But let's say if you're against it, that's respectful.
Yeah, I mean, physical copies are still a big thing. Yeah,
but then start looking for other sources. There are alternatives that are way better. We don't endorse 100% like pre-ordering blindly, right? But you're gonna do it anyway. We know that. So might as well, hey, check if, let's say, for example, you have an Amazon Prime account. Chances are you could be getting that game for like $47. Is it?
It's usually $12 off. Yeah.
Yeah, they give you 20% off of pre-order. Well, that's a nicer incentive than whatever pre-order bonus you could get at GameStop at $59.99 plus tax.
Yeah, usually what is it? A digital new gun or something, some silliness in the game that's already in the game. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like it's just unlocked. Oh, that's ridiculous. But no. Final question on this for you, and I was preparing this for you.
Oh,
if you were the CEO of GameStop. Right now, you are the main man. You have total control of GameStop, and this is your baby.
Shit.
Yeah, it's a little different when you look at it from the other end because you know that digital future is coming.
Yeah.
And when that comes, if you don't have another plan,
yes.
So that's the question. What would your plan be? What would you do to keep GameStop afloat?
Or
would you just let the ship sink?
No, I can. And to
go
be fair,
down with the ship.
They're not doing that either. It's just on their approach. They're
doing whatever they can.
Going a little bit overboard. But no, this is the time for them to establish relationship with the closer ties with the publishers and developers, so that they could serve as a digital gateway somehow. We might not even be needing brick and mortars stores anymore. But let's say they are. I mean, I don't have a plan of exactly how it will work out. But you definitely don't want to have the horrible customers experience that you've been having lately. So, and if you know that everything is eventually gonna go digital, where it's fine that you're exploring some other options, but you're going to have to negotiate how to get a better cut, for example, of digital sales. On your end, maybe some incentives. I don't know because I'm not a CEO.
I know. Well, this is a hypothetical question.
Exactly. I know that this. I know what what they're trying to do, but it is bad business right now. They're getting bad press. We picked this up. To talk about because of because we saw it prominently on the news, but a lot of other sources have been talking about the same thing. I mean, you just mentioned Colin was right, which is they're talking about that. They mentioned it on Kotaku. They mentioned it on Engadget. I mean, everybody's giving them.
Everybody has their sites on it at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. So because this is gonna look bad. This is gonna drive customers away. The knowledgeable ones. Unfortunately, the gaming audience, a lot of it doesn't know any better.
Well, here's same question. If I were the CEO, this would be sort of the game plan that, and if obviously, I'm not nowhere near a business mind to know how to run a corporation like that, but just from what I can see, first off, I would definitely come out with a statement, a little bit better of a statement saying, either acknowledging that you did this or acknowledging that it exists and that it's going to need to be corrected because, like you said, you're getting a lot of bad press now. So I would come out and say, this is the issue at the moment. Obviously, some of our employees may have misunderstood or understood why how to proceed with the circle of life, whatever. And then as far as the future, I think they're doing smart to go into publishing or to go into. I think maybe going into like for instance, Bethesda started off just them, and then now they're actually a big publisher on top of being a developer themselves.
Hey, Valve.
Look
at freaking Valve. Yeah.
Well, that they're a little bit more high tech than GameStop in this case, but because they're PC mind there. But no, as far as I think they would probably benefit from maybe not just like they did with this, but maybe just funding some games, some big name devs to say, okay, we'll work with you here to do this and maybe become an established
work on their exclusive. What if they work on their exclusive? Well, that will mean that they'll become a publisher themselves.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But then you would actually at least make first off, there's a future there, and then you can still keep the store. Now here's the beauty of the stores. The stores will now have complete total access to all I don't want to say memorabilia, but all toys and all stuff for the games that are for you. You know? Imagine Bethesda having a Bethesda store. You know what I mean? Where you have, toys and swords and I know, but I'm saying the little. Let's be real. You don't. Online shopping is great and all, but there's something about going to a little store sometimes just to kind of walk the aisles and look at stuff. So maybe, and they've done that. They've kind of built their store to have a lot of toys, but that's all third-party stuff. But if you are now a first-party publisher, and you're making your own games and your own franchises, then you'll have a little store like a Nintendo store. You know, I mean, obviously you never. Nintendo store is way advanced. I don't know if you've ever been to the one in New York, but that is a Nintendo dream right there. But I mean, saying looking into the future, I think GameStop, if they'll eventually, and maybe they can still have the whole used game thing there and have retro gaming available as well, which they actually have gone into now with the retro gaming. Remember, they didn't have anything Super Nintendo, anything like that. Now they have some stores that have that, because they're realizing, okay, well, this is what used gaming really comes down to. So I think if they focus on that they would have a future.
Because they can't just keep it based on physical, because again, physical
it's going away.
It's gone away.
So that, guys, brings us to the end of episode 42 of GG's The Mouthful. And as always, please go to goodgame.tech and join up there, join the conversation. And if you're listening to this on iTunes, Google Play, or YouTube, subscribe, like the video on YouTube, leave us a good review on iTunes, and we love to get those. And as always, I almost forgot.
Wow.
We have a user comment from last week's show.
Oh yeah.
I almost wanted to bring that up.
We need to revisit.
Obviously, yes.
We appreciate the comments and when you guys participate.
Yes, from Mr. Gilberto.
Gilberto.
What is he like? Gilberto or
No, it's gonna be Gilberto.
It's Gilberto. Okay.
Gibbs or Gibbs? What's his handle?
Oh, Chaos Reaper. Yeah.
Chaos Reaper. There you go.
Chaos Reaper.
Good guy. Good guy over there.
All right. So
fighting a good fight.
Yeah, so we had a comment here from Mr. Gilberto, and it is
Gilberto. Chaos Reaper.
He had put on the last week, he wanted to know, now that Hitman has been out and apparently pretty good from what he hears, how do we feel about the episodic structure of coming from Square Enix, or how Square Enix uses it? Do we feel it works? Do we feel cheated?
This could be in reference to Final Fantasy VII episodic, maybe. Yeah.
And Hitman. I mean, Hitman obviously had the episodic work, and it worked out pretty well.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. I'm not a big fan of episodic content either, but I see the benefits when they do it right. Not when they do it like freaking Valve, where we haven't yet to see Half-Life episode 3, but whatever. Yeah. Or Telltales,
yeah.
where it takes sometimes it could take a little as maybe a month or two.
To be fair, they've been better at it.
They've been better at it. Yeah. But it used to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
You have no idea when the next episode is coming. It'll be 3 or 4 months down the road.
The thing with Hitman in particular that you mentioned, Gilberto, that worked was that those levels were designed to master them. Mm-hmm. So you will finish the level. You'll finish your mission. It'll probably take you like maybe an hour, if that. But then it's instead of advancing the story, you are compelled to go back and try a different method, and that way making yourself better and getting ready for the next chapter. And every time, the good thing is that you sort of have loot on that. I mean, you will unlock new stuff every time you complete challenges and stuff like that. And the levels themselves were interesting, or are interesting to replay. And I did that when I bought Hitman. I bought the version. It was almost complete. Mm-hmm. Now I understand now they're doing season 2, so that speaks to how successful this was. So I bought the all the episodes at the same time. Well, I haven't been playing them. I finish one, go to the other. I play the same level 2 or 3 times because I'm having fun, because I'm encountering new things, and because I'm practicing and getting better and looking more badass when I do things as a hitman. So, to answer your question,
would you say that would specifically fall for that kind of game?
It works, really it'll have to be depending on the game. In Hitman, it works. So that's what I was going to say. To answer your question, yes. In Hitman, it works. It worked, and I encourage you to pick it up and play it, because another awesome thing that they do is that they have the elusive target targets. Yeah, also that they release every now and then. So they pepper it. That's another thing. They at least pepper that content with that. If Final Fantasy 15 or sorry, 7 could be something. It could be peppered with new content. I'm not saying replay it, because who's going to want to do that?
It's an RPG. Yeah,
it's an RPG. It's a completely different thing. But let's say they give you a good meaty, 15-hour, or it should episode. Be more, hopefully. But let's say at least 15-hour episode, and you feel satisfied with that. And you could, and if they don't make you wait that long for the next one, then sure, I don't like the idea of it, but I'll take it if it means that Final Fantasy VII could be, done sooner. They have demonstrated that at least they have the chops to have a decent schedule, or at least the Hitman developer did.
They if I'm not mistaken, they were also the ones who published Life is Strange.
Yes, that was another one that had a pretty decent schedule. Yeah, and it worked out.
And that game was Amazitron.
No, the game was amazing. Yes,
that was great.
If you haven't played, go back and
get into this damn game. No, I agree. I think the episodic nature can work as long as it depends on the game. RPGs. It's a little bit different. But
they're gonna show us if they can actually pull it out. Because it might be a total train wreck, and the Final Fantasy VII experience is done for.
It may be. You're right. So that again brings us to the end of episode 42. I keep forgetting. It's just like the last moment I can forget.
It's the answer to everything.
It is. Definitely. It's also this is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, signing off for this week. Mr. Dream Twister, do you have anything else for us?
The effects of the medicines are winding down, so I think we need to wrap this up.
Gotta go pop some more pills.
Yes, exactly. Popping pills. That's what they call me. Dream Twister popping pills. Popping pills. They don't call me that.
That is a bad thing. All right, guys. So we will see you next week. GG!
GG every day.